It's really useful having your woodworking machines on a trolley or a dolly, and I've made several of these. This was one of the first dollies that I made. I've also got another one on my circular saw here, but I've just been given this rather nice but old circular saw, but it's very, very heavy. It has a cast iron top to it, so I need to make some wheels for this so I can move it around. So let's get started. There are 4 pieces that make up a rectangle in the centre that the saw will actually sit on. On either end of this rectangular piece is a section that is hinged with a couple of 100mm butt hinges. The casters are obviously on the underside, but I've not shown those here on the drawing. The green part is the lever that allows you to raise and lower the wheels, and the turn button holds the lever in the down position whilst moving the machine around. Now, I made a silly mistake with my calculations, but you'll see how I got around that. So keep watching to the end. I start by marking out and measuring all the pieces, then cutting them out on my radial arm saw. Lay them out on the bench and mark a face, side and edge to each piece and label the joints A, B, C and D. This will save the inevitable confusion later on. Mark the centre point across both pieces. It doesn't need to be exact. This is the position of the domino dowel. For strength, I'm going to put 2 dominoes in each joint. Dry fit the pieces and turn it over, check it square and then again mark the centre lines. Take it apart and cut those domino slots as well. You can see in the foreground the double slots I'm cutting. So now it's time to get it all glued and clamped. Check everything is square before tightening the clamps. Wipe away any excess glue and leave it to set overnight. Whilst that's gluing up, I can be cutting the dominoes in the pieces that make the hinge supports for the wheels. Time to dry fit the pieces, then glue them up. I'm taking these indoors to dry in the warmth of the house as it's far too cold here in the workshop.
I've made a mistake. I put it down to the cold weather. I don't know whether you can see that. It's 7 degrees in here this morning. This base is not quite low enough. Come down here and I'll explain why. There'll be 2 hinges here, 200mm hinges. So it will hinge like that. And there will be a longer piece of this glued and screwed there. What I forgot was the machine is going to come right up to this edge. So let me turn this around. Let's pretend this box is the back edge of the saw. And this is supposed to do that. Well, it clearly can't. Once the handle's on, it's going to hit this. That's where I went wrong. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to joint those and then have this piece hinged onto that. There will be room now for that movement. Right, face mask and ear defenders.
And before you know it, we're back to the gluing. By adding these 2 pieces, I've made the base just that little bit longer. Here I'm marking out and cutting the 2 pieces that will be the levers. I decided to have a lap joint on these and use my radial arm saw to remove the bulk of the waste before cleaning them up with a chisel. Drill pilot holes for the screws and round off all the edges. Fortunately, I didn't glue these as I changed them. One of a couple of improvements I made. So keep watching to see them.
I took this indoors to let it glue up overnight. So now I'm back in the workshop, another chilly morning, but it's time to fit the hinges and to get this mechanism to work. Good, that's exactly what I want. Now we do the other side. That's both of those done. Now it's time to fit this handle, which will be used to actually lift this. When I know this is going to actually work properly, I'll glue this as well. I want to put a piece of ply on the underside of the whole frame under here. It needs to protrude out of the front here as well. I'm going to have a clip of some sort here I'm going to make, but in order to support it, I need a piece of plywood underneath it.
I probably would have chosen larger wheels, but I remember that I had these four kicking around my workshop, so it's good to have finally used them. I'm not too sure how well this will work, but let's give it a try. Well, that's as good as I could have expected. I decided to make two improvements. Firstly, I replaced the levers with longer ones, making it much easier to push them down and turn the turn button. Then it occurred to me that the position of the wheels was giving a rise and fall of 70mm, and this seemed rather excessive. I fitted an extra piece of wood on each end and managed to lift the hinge piece by 55mm. This has reduced the overall rise and fall to just 20mm, which is much better. Finally, I secured the base to the mobile trolley with a couple of lengths of timber. So that's my project for today, a trolley or a dolly for a woodworking machine. If you found it useful, maybe you'll try making one of those for yourself. Do give it a thumbs up if you liked it, I'd certainly appreciate that, and consider subscribing. So that's all for today. You take care, and I will see you again on the next project. Bye for now.